But the second piece of the application is specific to the individual investor. And on this side, a large part of the focus is on the source of funds. So now at $900,000, you have to legally show where all of the funds have come from in making the investment. When documenting the source of funds, there are 4 main categories that we see across all different investor groups, and quite often it's a combination of the 4 of these.
The people who use business income are usually going to be people who either are entrepreneurs, have run their own businesses. Depending on how you are, if you are a recent company with, say, undistributed profit, then you're probably going to get a shareholder loan from your company itself. When that happens, you really have a dual source of funds. It's not really the investor you're focused on. It's the giftor, be it the parent or the relative. So whoever is gifting the funds has to be comfortable with providing evidence of, where they accumulated that money from, how did they buy the property, and the records from back then. But it's very common for these informal transactions where maybe a family friend has a company, right? A company who's willing to give you, say, a loan or unsecured loan. In those kind of situations, we usually want a declaration from whoever the lender is explaining, why would you willing to give this particular investor this loan for them to fund the investment? And more importantly, where did this essentially get to your source of funds for who the lender is? From what we've seen in the last few years, USCIS has taken a heavy interest or heavy focus on how did these investors from these countries transfer their money to the US and basically, was it even legal to begin with? Over the last few years, or really since EB-5 started, the most common ways for investors in Vietnam to transfer the money to the US is to go through, say, they find an overseas company with equivalent US money to help them swap funds and transfer to the US, or they find a currency exchange company, kind of like a Forex company, to help them transfer their money. But by and large, these investors who filed the I-526 petitions have complied with the rules that existed at the time they filed, right? So whatever the rules, whatever the requirements were at the time they filed, that's what they prepared the petition based on.
Most importantly, the asset that the money is being loaned against has to be worth less than the amount of the loan. In this case, let's say it's $900,000. So you'd want to have, number 2 there on the left, some current documentation from a third party confirming that, that piece of real estate is actually worth at least $900,000. The second half of the letter explains how that individual investor's money has been sourced correctly, lawfully, and how it ended up from the investor's assets and personal accounts into the project. This list of exhibits can get quite long, and so it's really important to work with competent and experienced immigration counsel to make sure that you're not missing any of the exhibits that you're going to need